Hello parents and guardians. We've created this short video so that we can go through a new feature that has recently been enabled within Google Classroom. As you may be aware, the government recently introduced legislation that said that we as teachers have a duty to set work for students who are self-isolating or off for any other reason. This is a short-term measure whilst we're going through the COVID problems associated with the virus. However, we've taken advantage of this and we have switched our Google Classroom service on to be fully operational. And what you may have noticed is that over the past week or two, you've received an email. And if you haven't, please check your junk or spam folder for this email. You may have received, or you should have received, an email requesting that you turn on something within your settings of Google Classroom. This enables you to receive a full digest of the work that your students have been set. It's also beneficial because it tells you the work that is outstanding, in other words, work that hasn't been done, and work that is due in for the coming week. So it replaces our Show My Homework system because we now set all homework using Google Classroom. So if you have a look to my right, you will see that there is an example digest that a parent has kindly sent me in today. So let's go through this digest on the screen. So we can see here that what this parent has received is a weekly summary of Google Classroom activity for their student. So to begin with, we can see work missing from last week. In other words, it's now, when I'm recording this, Friday at around 5 p.m. So this parent received their weekly summary email just gone 4 p.m. So you can see that it is a digest of the previous week, or the week that we're just coming to the end of. So have a look at this. We can see that various tasks that are missing from the week we're just finishing. And you can see that there's some English homework that was due in on Monday that this particular student hasn't completed or handed in yet. There's some French work that hasn't been handed in yet, and that was due on the 19th. And there's some maths tasks that haven't been done. So this parent, or the parent of this particular student, has already contacted me to say they'll be having a chat with this student tomorrow morning over the weekend to say why haven't they done this particular work. If we then move on to work due in next week, we can see that this student has some English homework due in and some maths homework due in. And there is probably some other homework that will appear on Google Classroom as well. But for the starter, we can see that this student has got 2 pieces of homework and the due dates are expressly given there as well. We then move on to the class activity. Now, because this particular student is having to self-isolate, we can see that Mr. Vaughan, our virtual learning lead, who sets all this, has been setting the tasks to check in with those students. So please don't think that there's an awful lot of work that's gone on here. This is literally just a case of twice a day, Mr. Vaughan checking in to make sure that work is being done and what sort of work is being requested. We can see here, this is this particular student's form is 9-1 PJ, and there are only 2 pieces of work that have been set there. Well, they're not work, they're announcements, and that is a link to the Harvest Festival that we recently had and the whole school assembly. You will see messages like that appear all the time. We then move on to the tasks that have been set for various subjects. So we can see that this is an assignment set and the various links to that are there. We can see the homework there and so on and so forth. French work has been set. We can see maths work has been set. We can see science work has been set. Design and technology, so on and so forth. This system is really, really helpful. Now, to tie in with this, your student has a Google Calendar. And if I just go into my Google Calendar for today, we can see that you can see my lessons here, but just here, those are the assignments that I've set for my particular classes with the time that I've requested them to be done by. Your student, and they can look ahead into the coming week, and we can see that on mine, there's an assignment. I'm expecting lesson 6, and if I click on that, it opens up, and this is exactly what your student will see in their Google Calendar is a link to the work that they need to do. And this particular class have all got this work that needs to be done by Tuesday at 3 p.m. and they can click on that and go and see it. So really, in this very short video, what I'm saying to you is make sure you've switched on or checked your your spam to make sure you've received the email, and then go in and you have a choice of options. You can choose a weekly digest, which is what we're recommending, or you can choose a daily digest. The daily digest might get a little bit cumbersome and a little bit boring if you go for that. It's entirely a matter for you. You may prefer to know on a daily basis what your child is doing and what they have been set and what hasn't been set and completed and so forth. One word of caution though, if we look here under the heading of work that hasn't been submitted, that was due to be submitted or is overdue, if we have a look here, it is probably the case that your student has done the work but hasn't clicked on hand in or submit on their Google Classroom app. The teachers will pick up on this when they go in and mark, because they'll obviously see that the work has been done but not handed in. So it's really important that when you have those conversations with your students, that you have a look at or ask them to go into their Google Classroom. If they're saying, oh, well, I've done it, it could very well be that they have. Just make sure that they go in and click on submit, and then the next digest that you get, the work will drop off as being done. This is the really interesting thing, because you can then check that has this work been done. So on the 26th of November, which is Thursday of next week, you can be badgering your student to say, have you done your Hegarty maths or whatever piece of work is outstanding. Any questions about that, do feel free to drop me an email. This system is incredibly powerful, and it's early days for both you and us here at Rawlett. But working together, we can make this system be absolutely brilliant. As I say, any questions, please do drop me an email. Thanks for listening.